Hi, church. This is Denise, and I'm here to talk with you once again about our last week of Advent. So we've entered into that fourth week of Advent, and we are so close to Christmas, where we get to celebrate that the King has come. And right now, we can feel that. We are finishing up all of our Christmas shopping and Christmas baking, probably preparing for a quiet little Christmas at home, but still, even in the midst of this weird, kind of lonely year, there's excitement there as we prepare for Christmas, recognizing the true meaning that Jesus has come just as he promised he would, and that we also get to look forward to when he comes again. So I'm excited for this week. So throughout these weeks of Advent, throughout the month of December, we have entered into what it looks like to slowly progress toward Christmas. And so that first week, we recognized the darkness that is all around us. We recognized what's wrong in the world, the things that are not as they're supposed to be. And we acknowledge that, especially this year, we feel the reality of that with COVID, with all the things that have gone on. We recognize that things are not right, that there is darkness all around. And we grappled with that reality of broken hearts, that there are lots of broken hearts out there this year, some of them our own, and what it looks like to recognize the reality of darkness, but also look forward to the hope that we have coming. That second week of Advent, we talked a bit about those lonely hearts that we have, what it looks like to be lonely in this year, in the reality of this year, and also recognizing the loneliness, the longing, and the ache that we have for the return of the good judge and king. And we understand that as we think about Jesus coming back as judge, that can sometimes be a little bit fearful for us. But also understanding that when we trust that God is who he says he is a righteous judge, upright in every single thing that he does. We know that his judgments are good and pure and true. And we look forward to the return of the King, and when he'll come back and wipe away every tear and make everything new as we long for it to be once again. We looked at the third week of Advent last week and talked a little bit about searching hearts, what it looks like to search for God and to really be on the lookout for him at work in our lives. And we recognize that sometimes the best way to figure out what God will do or how he's going to be faithful is to look at what he has done in the past, which is why it's so important to be at church and be in the scripture so that we know how God has kept his promises in the past, and then we can look forward to and trust that he will keep his promises in the future as well. And so as we search, we seek out his good word and the promises he's kept, to acknowledge that he will keep those same promises in the future. And this week we're talking about having grateful hearts, and Pastor Dan talked a bit about that on Sunday, talked about Anna, who had been waiting in the temple, waiting and waiting for the coming Messiah. And in that waiting and in her attitude of gratefulness and thanksgiving, she was there when the Messiah, Jesus, appeared at the temple for the first time to be dedicated. And so we talk about, what does it look like for us then in this week, in this weird year, with all of the restrictions we have on us? What does it look like for us to have grateful hearts? And that, I think, can be a couple of different things for us. We can go really practical. We can I think about it all the time. We've been stuck at home a lot this year, not getting to see family and the people we would love to see. And yet at the same time, I recognize that I have a cozy home and I have a family that keeps me busy. I have people who care about me. There's a lot that I have to be grateful for, even in this year, when I can think about all the things that I haven't gotten to do or haven't gotten to have this year. And so practically, what does it look like to have grateful hearts this Christmas? That could be this week, we take time to every day just write down a couple things that we're grateful for. Maybe post it on the mirror in your bathroom. as a reminder that we have a lot of reasons to be grateful in this year. If you have little kids at home, it could be great at the dinner table or as they're going to bed to just have everyone go around the room and say one thing they were thankful for that day. One way that God showed up, one way that they saw God at work. And it can be really simple. We do this with our kids at night, and usually they're grateful for things like their special cereal that they got to eat today, or the fact that they maybe got to play or watch a show, something like that. They can be simple things, but they're good exercises in recognizing all of the myriad ways that we have been blessed. And then Pastor Dan talked about this on Sunday as well. But we can use this week as an opportunity to share with those around us. So what does it look like for you this week to bring some joy into someone else's life? Maybe it means dropping off a gift at their home, or singing them a carol outside their door, or sending a video to a family member of your kids reciting some verses. Who knows what it looks like? But as you recognize all that you have to be grateful for this year, we can pass that on and share it with others, especially those who might be broken and lonely this Christmas. So these are the things that we have to look forward to in this last week of Advent. And this last week of Advent is really our most joyful one. We kind of start out in the dark and recognizing everything that's wrong. But as we move toward Christmas, we really move into that celebration, the recognition that Emmanuel, the God who promised to be with us, is with us. He has come and he is here. And it's such a good thing that we have to celebrate. So I want to encourage you, especially this week, make sure you go to our website, CrossRoadsChurch.ca, click on the Advent experience and check out the playlist that we created for this week. We have all kinds of songs on there, and they are filled with joy, and they will get you excited for Christmas as we get to celebrate that the King has come. And I also want to remind you about our Christmas Eve services coming up on Thursday. We still have some spots to attend in person if you want, and then we'll be streaming all of them, all 6 of them, live as well online. So sit with your family and watch Christmas Eve, or come in person, join with some others online, whatever that looks like. But the truth is that even in this weird Christmas, we still get to rejoice, and we still get to celebrate that God has been faithful and that he has kept his promises to us. I want to read just a couple pages out of this book to you, The Biggest Story, and I've recommended it many times before. It's a kid's book, but I think it has such good truths for those of us who are not kids as well. And the thing that excites me about this little section I'm going to read to you is the fact that even as we celebrate that Jesus has come, as we celebrate Christmas, we also get to look forward to when the King returns. And Jesus has promised that he will come back one day, and we can trust that promise because God has been faithful to all of his promises in the past. And the good things that will happen when Jesus returns, and those of us who have accepted his free gift of salvation get to meet him and live with him in his renewed kingdom. So I want to read you just a couple pages from this to get us excited for the celebration that we have this Christmas, but also the celebration that we get to look forward to when the King returns and makes all things new. So this from The Biggest Story. It says, the snake crusher is coming back again to wipe away all the bad guys and wipe away every tear. He's coming to make a new beginning and to finish what he started. He's coming to give us the home we once had and might have forgotten that we lost. So keep waiting for him. Keep believing in him. Keep trusting that the story isn't over yet. God's promises never fail, and the promised one never disappoints. One day we will see him. One day we will be with him. One day there will be nothing but the best days, day after day after day after day. And forever and ever, it will be a wonderful time to be God's children in God's wonderful world. This is what we have to look forward to. Our King is coming, and he is coming soon. And this is a very exciting thing. So as we look forward to Christmas and getting to celebrate that at the end of this week, I want to encourage you to rejoice along with the rest of the weary world, because we do have a true hope in Jesus. He's come to make his blessings flow as far as the curse is found. And he's invited those of us who trust in him to share that blessing and that hope and that joy with those around us. So thank you for joining me. Merry, Merry Christmas. And I'm so excited to get to celebrate with you our coming King. Have a good week, Crossroads.